What's going on, guys? My name is Florida Man Dan. As always, I have Big Brexit Dave.
No, I've changed my name. It's now Bigger Fourth Brexit Dale Davidson the 17th.
And Man Like Clive.
No. Change mine as well.
Fuck's sake.
I'm Lillian Clive of the 78th.
Why?
It's my full title.
Funny, isn't it?
And I guess this is the Degenerates podcast.
What do you mean you guess?
Nope, it's Big Brexit Keith.
Today is November 14th, 2019. We are recording on a Thursday. It is 5 days after the Logan Paul KSI fight. And Dave, what are your thoughts? 5 days later, you've had some time to sit on it. What are we thinking about it?
Well, initial observations is that it was a bit of fantastic entertainment, really. Not high quality boxing. I think both guys can walk out of that saying they could have boxed better. But I've rewatched it probably 5 times now. I've kept scoring each one, and I think KSI did deserve to win. He seemed to land more of the punches. He pushed the fight. He was more aggressive. But I think at the end of the day, there was no real losers. Everyone came away healthy. Everyone came away with a big paycheck, and they're moving to respective fields now.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was really good for the boxing culture as a whole because I think it brought in a whole new lineage of boxing fans. Just the guys or the people who kind of spend a lot of time on YouTube. They follow all their favorite YouTubers. I mean, we had, 4 YouTube fights? Or 4 YouTube fighters on the night,
No,
including
just
Logan
3.
Paul? Just 3? Okay.
So, KSI, Logan Paul, and then the guy that Face Sensei was supposed to fight. I forgot his name.
Right.
Josh Bruckner.
Yeah,
That guy.
him. The guy who proposed to his girlfriend.
Yeah, him.
Okay.
Proposed to his girlfriend and said that he'd never do it in front of a crowd, and then did it on one of the biggest stages ever.
Right.
He just didn't think about that, did he?
Nope. No, proper cunt move from him. But
Well, I wouldn't call it a cunt move. I mean, the guy fucking proposed to his wife.
Yeah, that's a bit unfair.
if you say you're never going to do it in front of a crowd and then do it in front of a capacity crowd at Staples Center.
And millions of people watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble.
It's just a little bit of a crowd. More than one person.
Slightly less than a billion.
Just slightly.
We're getting on a tangent here. Let's talk about the fucking fight.
Big time. So what I'm
What
saying
fight?
is the lineage of people who were brought into the boxing fandom, I guess you'd say, they're just kind of the people who follow their favorite YouTubers. And I think it's going to be really good for the sport of boxing to expand to that kind of a culture.
Yeah, honestly, I can see why a lot of people are saying that there shouldn't be another YouTube fight. Simply because the audience that both KSI and Logan Paul brought in was quite young. I don't think they were actually ready to see their favorite creator get knocked out. So the fact that neither of them did get knocked out was almost a blessing, really. However, if they're looking at having Jake Paul fight Anderson Gibb, or having Faye Sensei fight somebody, especially if Faye Sensei fights another YouTuber, we're definitely going to see a knockout. And that's going to affect young kids mentally. However, I can see it happening because, well, there was, what was it, the highest watched event on DAZN?
Yeah.
And it was the most watched pay-per-view event on Sky Sports in 2019, more than the AJ Ruiz first fight.
It was half the price, though.
That.
But it doesn't matter, it got more than viewers.
I know, but it's cheaper, so it's more accessible to people because the AJ route is almost £20.
But if you bumped it up to 20 quid, I still think you'd have more viewers.
More than likely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was fucking amazing. The people that were tuned into the live stream, all fucking 7 of you, we were fucking in it, weren't we?
Yeah, we went a little bit fucking crazy when the result came in.
Yeah, but even before the result came in, I was screaming the whole time.
Oh, I mean, I was shitting myself the entire time. There was times where I wanted to go, couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, words wouldn't come to my mouth because if they did, I'd just get everything wrong.
I think the part of the whole, I think the reason why we were like that though is because we've watched KSI's progress for so long since we were like, since he was playing fucking FIFA 12.
Let's talk FIFA 12 and stuff.
And to see that guy come from there to making songs with fucking Rick Ross and Lil Baby, because how's he done that? That's
like the music video for that coming in as well.
Yeah, but he's just sold that way. I don't know whether they sold out the Staples Center, but
I think they did.
Okay, he fought Logan Paul at the Staples Center and won as a pro boxer. It's absolute fucking madness. All credit to him. I kept saying to people, don't doubt KSI, because he's never been beaten in terms of that aspect, and he proved it again.
And you gotta respect Logan as well, because he's just a kid from Ohio who started on Vine, and he's put himself in the same situation where he's fought at the Staples Center in front of millions of people worldwide.
I personally think he lost that fight, though. I don't think KSI won it. As much credit you got to give to KSI for being that dog and being the aggressor. I think Logan had far more opportunities to end it. He had the clear opportunities to end it, and he didn't capitalize it. I think the whole event got to him a bit. The event KSI. You can see that in the post-match, or the post-fight interviews and stuff, him saying, that he felt removed from the whole day. I know he was talking about how he was sick and by that shit, but when he was talking
three
about
times. the Degenerates podcast sneezed 3 times. That's why we didn't upload on Wednesday.
But what I was talking about was like, he's saying stuff like, I don't know what just happened, worst performance in 2 months, something changed today, I couldn't take it from 99 to 100. I just think the occasion got to him. I just think he just kind of had stage fright, really. I know he didn't get gassed out this time, but
no, I think he didn't really throw much.
Yeah, I think he was almost too cautious in the fact that he didn't want to let his hands go
in case he did gas out,
because he knew that if he gassed out, then KSI would have finished it within 20 seconds. But he did have the punch of the fight. That uppercut was horrifically naughty.
But it's just a shame he followed it up with 2 illegal shots and one that's just horrendously frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's break that down real quick. Because I had a lot of people trying to talk to me and kind of come at me on that. I mean, you guys, you know who you are if you're listening. But let's break that down. So, the left uppercut, clean. That was
right.
Clean. Perfect timing.
It was right.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then he follows it up. He tries to throw a big left hook, ends up wrapping his hand around JJ's head. Then, while his hand is still wrapped around the head, he throws a right uppercut. Again, it would have been clean if his offhand weren't around JJ's head, so that's a 1-point deduction automatically.
Yep.
Pulls the hand away, hits him again on the way down. Very frowned
in the back
upon.
of the head. On the back of the head as well.
Yeah.
It was behind.
It wasn't close to the. It was back of the head.
Yeah, it was directly on the back of the head.
No. I'm talking about on the way down. The one where he's down was square the back of the head.
They were both square the back of the head. Because he hit him on the back of the head, on his way down. When he got down, that was when he hit him on the back at the top of his head. I think.
That's one of those severely frowned upon, but still not. That's not a deduction. And then the really egregious one is when he put his glove from his shoulder straight down to his knee to the back of JJ's head, while JJ had 2 gloves and 2 knees on the canvas.
Yeah. If anything, I was surprised he wasn't disqualified for that. I think it would have been harsh, but the ref had almost every right to do it.
I think if it's not a KSI Logan Paul fight, it's a disqualification.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, if that's
if the fight didn't have this much hype around it, Logan Paul's DQ'd and fight's over. But the ref, what's his name, Reese.
Jack Reese.
Jack Reese
did an amazing job officiating that.
Well, he's a fucking world-class ref.
Like, if you look at it as well, like, Logan's team are trying to contest it, but even the likes of Eddie Hearn had it as a 2-point deduction.
Yeah, I think the commission have already responded saying that there was no wrongdoing in terms of the officialing. I think they were slightly confused because he scored the 2 points just on the punch to the back of the head. He didn't score it on the holding. So they thought it was slightly harsh because that's only one offence. But I think Jack Reese was just trying to level it up, simply because it clearly did take a lot out of KSI, and as KSI hasn't fought, as that was his first professional fight, it would have been very unfair to let him carry on like that.
Yeah, it would have been a bit of a... And the fact that he gave him as much time as he needed to recover was good as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have 5 minutes.
Logan complaining about it, but if we're being real, you've just committed 3 illegal punches, all of which will have knocked someone who isn't a professional fighter, or like is technically, but not realistically.
Right.
Yeah, and these guys are big guys. These guys are cruiserweight. You get a punch to the back of the head in cruiserweight, that can concuss you, and 2, it can result in like worse injuries. Like, I mean, we just seen a guy fucking die in the ring less than a month ago, and the fact that they're complaining about a very illegal punch to the back of the head when these guys weigh in excess of 190 pounds is fucking bonkers to me. Very lucky to get away with it. But yeah, anyway, if I want to go into a bit more detail about how each guy generally fought. I did think that KSI's defense was very good. He did show, and when Logan came forward with that jab, whenever he wasn't slipping it, he kind of had that high guard, so that Mayweather influence on there. Although he only had 5 weeks to work with the Mayweathers, it's clear that all they really worked on was defense. He had that stamina. I know Eddie Hearn was talking a lot about him looking gassed inside 2 rounds, but I just think he just slowed the pace down a bit more and he just started to breathe through his mouth a bit more. Well, I mean, that's a solid indication for somebody being gassed, but the pace didn't really drop significantly. He didn't really look that, like that gassed to me anyway. But he mainly he made it a dogfight. He got inside, the swings were fucking wild, they were coming from all angles, and Logan couldn't handle it.
I don't know if you've watched, there's a video of Vidal Riley. He's even came out and said that JJ's admitted that's not how he wanted to fight, and it was like the occasion got to him a little bit, and that's why he started throwing wildly.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, if you go back to what was that Mike Tyson quote? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that happened to both guys. They were like, oh shit, I better go back to something I know. And what JJ knows is coming forward, being aggressive and throwing fucking hooks from fucking Guatemala. But Logan couldn't handle it. It worked. Logan looked really fucking scared to get hit. Like, if you look fight backwards, his stance was too wide. And fair enough.
Shannon's repeatedly said since that you can't train for that style of boxing when, one, you can.
No.
You can kind of train for most things. And he did it in the last fight, so why weren't you prepared for it? And 2, that's not really an excuse. Like, if he can't box well enough, then how does he beat you?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, like, I just don't understand why Shannon keeps coming out and saying you can't train for that, when in reality you can train for pretty much anything.
Well,
I mean,
I think it's a very difficult.
He knew everything was going to come out from in terms of a hook, because we even noticed it. We said it several times. JJ didn't throw a single straight.
No, he didn't really. I mean, I remember him throwing probably 2 in the whole fight. But then again, he was still leaning and stuff.
Almost everything was a hook.
It was so frustrating to watch how wide Logan's stance was, and JJ keep trying to go wide. Like you said, he's throwing hooks from fucking Guatemala, whereas he could have just gone right up the middle and tapped his chin, his nose, his temple, anything. He could have hit him anywhere in the face, and JJ just decided to go wide. I get like that's kind of his like thing. That's how he's used to fighting. But if you really had the feel for the fight, you could have seen that Logan is so wide open, you could throw a basketball between his hands and hit him in the teeth.
Yeah, well, he tried to employ that Roy Jones hands down kind of fighting style, and when his hands were up, his face was wide open. Yeah. But the reason why I don't really think they were hooks. They were more kind of right hand over the top, which is why he was throwing it fucking wild, because he was kind of like, oh shit, the opportunity's really, concentrating on throwing the technique correctly and stuff. But that in terms of right hand over the top, it was working. I mean, every time Logan really threw that double jab, the right hand came over the top, and that was those kind of punches were the reason why KSI was scored so highly. He was robbed of a knockdown, and that was a right hand over the top. But yeah, he was open with the straight the whole time. I think the reason why they didn't really throw the straight, apart from just being the occasion and stuff, is because they were very wary of Logan. Is very good at throwing the straights. I mean, we saw he did the double jab and throwing the right probably twice every fucking round. And every time it landed, you could hear it was a solid punch. I mean, fair play to KSI for having that chin.
Right. Wonderful silence, guys.
I was drinking. Fuck off. But yeah,
I started cutting out a hell of a lot from me there.
It wasn't at all for me. You were clear as day.
I'm assuming he was, but on mine I couldn't hear shit, so I just thought I'd bring it up just in case it wasn't good for you.
Yeah. Coming back to the fight, I put down here on my fight notes that Logan displayed very poor discipline. Don't know whether you guys want to.
I think we've gone over that a bit.
All right. Well, the punch in the back of the head and stuff.
Yeah, because he was. Yes, there was that deductible time, but he was doing it the whole fight. And
yeah, he was punching the clinch and stuff, and general kind of piss poor behaviour.
They were both doing some pretty shady things, like punching each other in the back of the head, fighting in the clinch.
Yeah,
but, that's what happened. Like, you expect that when you've got inexperienced fighters.
Yeah. I mean, this although it was advertised as a pro fight, this was a pro fight. It was a glorified amateur event.
Right.
They just had the pro fight thing just to get more money, basically, and then that's kind of what we assumed would happen in the running. But I think both guys were definitely better boxers than what they showed. I still think that Logan is technically the better boxer, but it's not the person. Well, it's not the best fighter that usually wins a fight. It's the person who fights the best, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Chael Sonnen quote.
Yeah, KSI fought the best.
I think everybody can agree with that.
Yeah. Do we want to move on to the impact it has, this event? Because
it's a massive one.
Yeah, I personally think it's changed the way that people look at UK YouTube forever, really. Not just in YouTube in general, it's changed because of how fucking massive this event was, but especially UK YouTube. It really showed the kind of like the collective community aspect. I mean, I don't know whether you were looking at the people that were in the crowd, but yes, the Simon were in the crowd, the people that were with them were in there, but like Calix was in there, Cal Freezy was in there.
Even Nightscape was there.
Yeah, fucking Nightscape was sneaking into the arena. Of course he did.
Nico Milano was there.
Randolph was in the background.
Like everybody came out. Everybody who's anybody in the UK YouTube community came out to support. And if they couldn't come out to support, they watched it at least and like recorded it.
I think
like it's
who's that streamer that sometimes I think it's Talia's friend, Simon Minter's
Ginelli.
Yeah, she tweeted something like 100 UK YouTubers came out.
Yeah.
Which is fucking bonkers to me.
Like that just shows like how strong of a community it actually is.
Yeah. I think it's onwards and upwards from here. Especially with the rise of Gib and stuff.
Yeah, and the fact that Gib and Joe were initially scheduled for Sky, and then Bazinga did one interview or two interviews or something. They liked him that much that they got him on the team. And if you've watched the fight commentary from them, especially when the result was announced, I think Ethan handled himself extremely well.
Yeah, I didn't
could have reacted in the same way as Gib, because Gib went absolutely off it and just screamed on the microphone, whereas Ethan actually like tried to explain, can't contain himself, and was actually talking about it.
Yeah, I think Ethan throughout the whole week was almost as unbiased as he possibly could be. I think Joe did a very good job, personally.
Yeah, because he could have very easily been biased towards Logan because of that previous hatred.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of very hard criticism come on Joe recently, especially in the build-up to the fight. And I think it's very, very unfair bias, to be honest, because it's been so long since he fought KSI, and people think that he's still salty about that. But he is a big...
He even said, like, in the build-up, he had Logan to win it, but then he said, I wouldn't be surprised if JJ actually did pull out the bag.
I think one thing that I did find fucking hilarious was Adam Smith. Adam Smith did not know what was going on. The boy was out of his fucking element.
Neither did Joe Markowski, the DAZN guy.
But Joe Markowski's the guy that owns... Well, he's the CEO. He wasn't on the commentary team.
I know, but he still had no idea. Like, you see him in the press conference. He did not know what he was dealing with.
Well, it's new territory for them. I think both of them, both in the DAZN and Sky Sports, where I think they were both kind of coming into this like, oh yeah, this is a one-off event. It won't do well. And now that they've seen the numbers, they're like, where can we get more of this shit? Which is fucking brilliant for all sides of YouTube, really. I mean, we're probably going to see, we'll see the Gib Jake Paul fight. I reckon JMX will get back in the ring. I know he's fighting MMA in the next couple of weeks. He's on the card with that. Who's that Stephen Bear guy and that other?
Stevie Bear and Scotty T.
Yeah, he's on that card. Nightscape's on that card as well.
Yeah, I know. Celebrity MMA. It's in Newcastle.
Fucking hell! I think that's I think it's a step too far.
I mean, I feel like that's more of a joke thing.
Because you can control it with boxing. Yes, boxing is it's a very dangerous sport. People still die in the sport. But MMA is a fucking different breed. Yeah,
like anybody who gets into an MMA octagon has something like wired differently in the head. Like, I don't mean that in an offensive way, but they genuinely do, because to get into an octagon where somebody is actually trying to kill you, like with virtually no padding, then they can kick you in the head, they can do anything. Like, to have the mentality to want to go in there, want to do it more and more, it's like on another level.
I mean, you just got to take it from this point of view. The best kind of knockout to watch is that one where that hit comes in and just the guy's slumped. That guy's clean, like done knockout. Like Tony Bellew on who's the guy who fought at Goodison Park.
I can't remember his name.
Filthy left hook that just cleaned him out. You just have to look at the difference between how often that happens in boxing to how often that happens in MMA. It probably happens 3 times a card in MMA, where I think I can count on my right hand how many times that's happened this year in the fights I've seen in boxing.
Like the last time I've seen it was the Canelo Kovalev, and that was very recent. You've seen it a couple other times.
And before that one, it was the Wilder Brazil.
Yeah, that was a brutal knockout.
Fucking cleaned him.
First round as well.
Yeah.
This is one hell of a tangent.
One hell of... We've been going on a tangent for like fucking 8 minutes. Like, where? It's because Dan's not fucking reeling us in. I don't know where he's going, but...
He's probably going to lock the basement again.
I'm just loving the natural boxing talk. Like, this is kind of what I live for. Like, I'm a boxer, by the way. But...
You haven't mentioned it enough, honestly.
Yeah? Haven't I? I think I said it once on the live stream.
Did you know? I'm a boxer!
Yeah, but on the live stream, your audio wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't know you've said it.
Exactly.
Yeah. 4 hours.
They also know that we called you a nun for 4 hours.
To reiterate the point, I'm a boxer. I've never fought without headgear.
Wait, what are you?
What was that?
I think he's a
What are you?
I'm a boxer. It's about
like, isn't a dog?
Fuck off.
It's not about knots. It's about boxing.
Oh, shit.
But...
Oh, why?
I live for just talking about anything to do with boxing. The old time... Like, especially the old time boxing. Like, you guys were talking about clean knockouts, and my mind instantly just went to, like, Tyson.
Oh, boy.
Jeff.
Wait,
Right?
which Tyson are we talking about? Mike or
Mike.
Fury.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike had some brutal knockouts.
Yeah.
The first one that comes to mind really is Spinks. Michael Spinks. The first round where he just rolled his eyes into the back of his head.
Yeah. And if, like, this is a slight tangent, but the Masvidal Diaz claiming the bad motherfucker title, I think Tyson had that for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's probably still got it. He's how old and he's still ripped to fuck.
Well, I think he's saying that he doesn't work out anymore. He said he doesn't want to because he doesn't want that person coming back. He says he can't watch himself anymore because he doesn't like that person. I kind of agree with him. I think Mike Tyson, fighting-wise, was
killer.
fucking
He was a killer.
insane.
Every time he stepped in that ring, he tried to actually kill somebody. His
He
punch
bit someone's
philosophy.
ear off.
What?
He bit someone's ear off.
Right. Right. He bit Holyfield's ear off. His punch philosophy wasn't to actually hit at the front of the head. He was actually trying to hit the back of their head through the front.
I think we just need to look at the fact I think the fact that the man had a tiger is enough to suggest that he was a killer.
Oh, yeah. In it.
The man literally played fetch with a tiger.
Right.
It's fucking
For the
incredible.
fun of it.
I love talking about boxing. I will sit down
Why?
over a beer with anybody and
Why
just
is that?
chat boxing all day
Why is
long.
that? Is that because you're a boxer?
Yes, it's because I'm a boxer. But
I
I
didn't
think
know
that
that. Just
because
said.
I've been a boxing fan for I don't even know how many years. I got reeled in as soon as I watched the Mayweather De La Hoya fight. But for somebody like me who has been an old head in boxing and just been into it for as long as I have, to see the way that the YouTube community is starting to come into boxing is, I think it's really special because there aren't many boxing fans anymore. There aren't many true boxing fans who will just sit down and chat about boxing.
Yeah, I think partly because that great heavyweight kind of pipeline is gone. Because if you think about it, if you're a very, very talented, tall athlete, you don't even remotely think about boxing. You think about basketball, then you think about whether it's American football, then you think about actual football. You think about baseball. You think about sprinting, and then you think about boxing. Like,
Unless, like, you come from a situation where boxing is one of the only options because you have to learn to fight in some way.
Well, yeah, let's get all the way back to the KSI Logan Paul fight. The whole fucking purpose of this podcast, 20-minute tangent. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, what do I think about the fight? Great. Oh my god!
That wasn't even me.
God. You're a cunt.
That one's got Dan written all over it.
Oh, fucking not.
You know what?
Anyway.
Oh, I know how I'm ending the podcast. Okay, keep going. Finish out.
Cheers, Jeff.
So. Can't fucking do it when you guys are fucking pissing me off, bro.
Alright, stop.
Right.
Just want to get the little peep. Beep. All right. Go for it.
Okay, so final thoughts. It was a great bit of entertainment. I think the right guy won. I think I can't really say much more than that. It's been 5 days, bro. Like I'm ready to move on to give Jake Paul or Wilder Ortiz that's coming up, or Joshua Ruiz that's coming up as well.
I just want whatever's next.
Yeah.
Like, I want another YouTube fight. Because I feel like that's the only thing that could keep the hype going. That's what
Yeah. I do think that there needs to be some downtime though. I think.
Yeah, there will be. There will be a few.
I think it will be probably 6 months until you hear anything in terms of boxing. KSI. I think the guy's going to work on his music a bit.
That's what he said.
Yeah. He rightfully needs a fucking break. He's probably just earned like 15 million from this fight.
Oh, easy. Probably more. Because he probably would have got a share of the gate.
Yeah.
And all like the pay-per-view stuff.
I think it'd be very interesting to see where YouTube boxing from here. But yeah, I think I'm just excited for the upcoming fights, really.
Well, with the boxing community moving away from YouTube fights, so are we for a minute. So we are going to be doing kind of what we had originally planned for the podcast. I know we started off on this whole fight train. That's just because that's kind of what we took interest to, and obviously you guys did too. Thank you for the views. But we're going to bring it back to what the podcast was originally meant for, and y'all are not meant to take this serious at all. Fair warning, if you've made it this far into the video and you're listening to me right now, from anything that we say here on out, unless we explicitly say to take this serious, do not take us seriously. We are going to
think
piss
tonight's probably a good
off.
indicator.
Yeah, well, the fact we went on a fucking tangent that lasted half the
If this was just an episode of tangents, like we could probably.
Well, at this point, I think we just rename the whole fucking podcast episode.
Right.
Instead of Degenerates, it's just a tangent.
the tangent
podcast.
I think we should talk a little bit. I think we should continue like the boxing thing though, because we still got Wilder fight, and we still got
we're gonna
AJ fight and stuff.
We'll absolutely be checking in on boxing all the time, but what we're going to be doing kind of from here on is honestly we're just going to be taking the piss out on everything. We'll be talking about news, we'll be talking about some sports stuff. We'll be talking about like maybe we'll have a rant from our own daily lives or something, and then just absolutely chat shit about it for 40 minutes to an hour. And this is kind of what we were excited to do when we thought about the podcast in the first place. It's just we got onto this train and we haven't felt like stopping yet. But I'm really excited for what's coming up. I mean, we've got a really good show planned that we're going to record on Sunday. That'll get posted on the, oh boy, what is that? 20th of November.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we post on Wednesday.
yes, we do post on Wednesday. Thank you, Dave.
Post on Wednesday this week.
Davenport.
Just when you're not boxing.
Christ.
Because, Dan's a boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan's a big boxer. No, but
Big
guys,
boxing
seriously, we're excited for this. We're just getting started, too. I mean, we're talking about a lot right now. We're talking about big expansions, but podcast is, as always, our number one thing. And like I said, we're really excited about what's to come. Because you guys think that we're being degenerates now. This is formal compared to what's to come.
Just you wait.
Yeah. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, my name is Florida Man Dan. As always, I'm with the Degenerates podcast. Bigger Fourth, Brexit Dale Davenport the Third. And Lillian Clivett the 78th. Jesus.
Lillian Clivett the 78th.
I hate you guys so much.
No, you don't.
This is the Degenerates. We're signing off.